Hello everyone, welcome to another Tabletalk review. Today we're reviewing Amoebunnies.
Amoebunnies is for 2 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, in about 30 to 60 minutes.
And thank you, Ron Calder, for sending us this demo review copy. They are going to be on Kickstarter sometime in October.
And the link will be in the description.
Down below. Anyway, so the way this game is asymmetric for everyone who plays, essentially, because there are 6 options.
Different Amoebunnies.
So here's the 6 different colors that you could be. You can shuffle them up and randomly deal them, or you can kind of pre-select them, essentially, because that's kind of what we did with kids. We made sure they played the easier ones.
Yeah, the lower complex characters.
But the gist of it is they each have their own little objective they're trying to complete, and they have their own way of moving because they have their own little story and backstory of what they are and what they're trying to do. Example being that Blue is the artist,
yes.
who is trying to collect paint samples, right? Or I'm trying to think what else.
Orange
is a big gelatinous blob, as you can see on the box. He's the one in the center.
And he somehow got separated.
Yeah, he kind of got separated, so he's trying to collect all of his pieces into one giant blob.
And come back together, yes.
So they each have their little, like I said, little backstory on how they work and such.
So the rulebook, there's 2 separate rulebooks. We have the main rulebook, which is like 6 pages, and it has like a general overview of the game and game setup.
So you have, and like how many jellies people start with, based on players, and then a little backstory and introduction and colors, and then just like what is an Amoebunny in the back.
And then you have individual rulebooks per character depending on who you play. Now this is the more important rulebook, so you know what to do. So if you played before, they have a very general setup, so you could review it if you played before. But if not, you could go through everything.
So you have like set up for each character. Each character has their special actions on the inside.
Their objective, how they move. Then there's details on their special action.
Each one should have a basic summary somewhere in the middle of their flat rule book. Yeah.
So, this game is for 10 and up. It's very cute. I like the design. But with these rule books, for that age, we actually taught the children their character versus having them read and comprehend the rule book. And then for adults, we kind of let them read it, but if they had questions, we did go over their character.
Yeah, I think before we played, I read every rule book, every character before I played my first game. But even still, there was questions. I was like, refer to your thing because I'm not sure. But by the time, at this point, we have played it at least a handful of times, and now have a better comprehension of each character that I can do that.
Yeah,
is kind of go through each character. I mean, there may be some little specific things, like some of their special abilities I might forget, but how each one generally works.
So, art style. I love the art style. I find it very cute and family friendly. And I like the components. These might not be the final components. It may change, but as of now, they're very good quality components.
Yeah,
I think they can only get better.
I think they're very, very close to the final thing than what we have. I mean, I really don't see what they can improve on, except maybe the insert.
Maybe slightly thicker cards, but these are pretty good cards.
Card quality, maybe.
But yeah,
I'm at a point where I'm not really sure. Like I guess maybe going through typos and things on rulebooks, maybe. But I didn't really find any of those, to my knowledge. But yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really fun. The really cool thing is, like we mentioned earlier, moving on to complexity, is that on each person or character's little rule book, they do have a complexity rating from 1 to 5 stars. And each of them ranging in difference in how they move and objectives. I think all of their objectives are pretty simple and easy to grasp. It's how their powers and movement work. That can lead to some of the complexity stuff.
And the confusion potentially.
Right. Like I know, like green and yellow, for example, they move by playing cards according to the board. As you can see behind all the pieces, they have paths and spaces that are of different colors. So they have to kind of play according to that. Where red just straight up moves, has some movements, and orange kind of has something similar, except it's based on their biggest clump size. Where purple and blue kind of rely on these dice. Blue has like this D8, where purple has a D6.
But it doesn't go up to 6.
It doesn't. It's a 2, 3s, and 4s.
Yes.
Where the blue character can only roll the dice twice, and they can only get 1 per roll. So
there's other ways the blue can move too. So,
yeah.
This game is complex in the way that each character has a different way to play and win. But it's simple because the actions are pretty easy to grasp. Because a 10-year-old can play this game. If we played with a younger child, we just had to kind of help them along a little bit.
Yellow's to drop off their cubes.
Their presents.
Blue is to collect their tokens. Red is to collect, but also deliver their tokens. Purple, they start with all their tokens, but they have to flip them over based on random card draws. And then we mentioned orange is just getting clumped together, which is the simplest one, I believe. Cam is 1 star. And
with the replayability, because of each character having such unique, gameplay and objectives, we can definitely play this game a lot, and it's always going to be fresh because you're changing characters,
Yes.
So I like that there's a lot of replayability in this game.
Definitely. Also, on player count as a thing, there's definitely more player count, and I think it gets more interesting with more. Because there's more.
I agree. With the 2-player, there's less interaction, so it's not as exciting. But when you get to 4 or 5, there's so much stuff happening on the board that is more fun. You interact with other characters, you can help each other out, or you're like, I don't like you, I don't want to help you out, so...
To go out of my way to do my own thing.
Yes, so I definitely prefer a larger player count, and I like that, because when you play with family, you might have, a family of 4, you want it interesting, versus, like, a 2-player. I wasn't a fan of the 2-player.
I feel like the exception is yellow. They kind of want interaction. Like their little pamphlet literally says, encourage people to interact with you, kind of thing.
So they help you move along.
But other than that, yeah, it's the interaction can be, I think, limiting with your... Not so much limiting, but just like, I don't need to. We can just stay out of each other's way and do our own thing.
Which might be difficult depending on player. Like if it was yellow and a 2-player, it would be difficult for yellow.
It might be.
So, are you ready for your rating?
Sure. I'm going to say that my rating is buy it. I think I'm so close to gotta have it, but I'm giving it a buy it. Mostly because it's very unique and it's got replayability, and I can't say that I can think of another one in our collection that has this level of asymmetry. I mean, there are games that have some asymmetry because they have, your character has a unique power that only you can use, but everyone is still trying to achieve the same thing. Everyone's doing the same game mechanics, like with a board or something. This was the only one that's pretty distinctly different from each player, and you can't like mimic someone else's turn to do what you want to do. It just doesn't happen in this one. So yeah, it's definitely a buy it, and I think my only drawback is, trust me, I'm kind of difficult to think of one. That's where it's almost, I'd say just that level of complexity of kind of asymmetry
might be harder to take out.
Might be a little harder to take out and to teach to new players that don't want to deal with that. You know what? I just thought of a game that is can be closely asymmetric, but still, and that's villainous.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
But you're still trying to achieve your own goal, but you're also kind of playing the same game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'd say buy it.
So my rating of this game is gotta have it. The one critique I have of this game is the color path of red looks very similar to orange. Kind of hard to distinguish. Thankfully, they have the symbols that kind of tell you, hey, this is a flower, this is a carrot, that's the path. But otherwise, a quick glance, you could get the two confused.
Yeah,
but
we've had a couple players that are like, oh, move me the red, and it's like, no, that's orange.
We had to correct them. Yes, but I love how it's family friendly. It has a large player count. I love the design of how cute it is. So like, I like a lot of things of this game. I think the other drawback is having to teach each player their character in the start. So like, starting the game might be a little slow, but once everybody knows how to play, this is very fun.
Okay, so my rating was buy it.
My rating's gotta have it.
And that was our review of
Amoebunnies. Thanks for watching.
Please like, subscribe, comment down below, and link down in the description. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye for now.